Hello trainers and welcome to a new series I like to call You Versus. It's pretty much similar to Sacrum Versus, but instead I commentate live reactions towards your videos and towards your battles actually. This is a battle between my friend Jay and a guy I guess he found online named Tarek. I've actually tried to record this match once before, but it didn't actually turn out great just because the video went out and the audio stopped recording for some reason. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time. I've been trying to get this battle out for a little bit. It's a good battle. It's actually it's kind of long too. It's 65 turns if I remember correctly. When the normal battle is usually like 24 turns maybe. But anyway, for Jay's team, he's got a Landers, Therian Form, a Mew, Greninja, he's got the Breloom, Tyranitar, and the Slowbro. Now, I guess the last time I watched this and the last time I tried recording it that he has a Mega Tyranitar, and that I was right. That is a Mega Tyranitar on his team. And he's got the Breloom Poison Heal, he's got the Slowbro for his physical wall, Protean Greninja, of course. And then he's got the Landorus to be a nice little pivot, and he's got Mew to help do other things and be Wally and stuff. And then Tarek, on the other hand, leads off with the Mamoswine. He's got his Mamoswine, he's got Sableye, he's got Breloom, he's got the Escavalier, Clefable, and a Muck. So the tiers are kind of mixed here. We have a little bit of OU and a little bit of UU. I think Jay actually has a little bit of an outclass here, but you know, still a good battle. Tarek puts up a really good fight in this, and so does Jay. So it doesn't really end up mattering too much. So I think Tarek actually has that's a freeze dry Mamoswine. I don't remember if it happens in the battle, but it's really it's Mamoswine. I love that thing to death. Sableye definitely for the prankster. He's got the Breloom, probably same set as Jay's, a little bit different maybe. I don't know. Then the Escavalier, I'm not really sure what it tries to do, but that Clefable right there is definitely an unaware Cosmic Power Clefable. I predicted it last time, got it right, so that is definitely a Cosmic Power unaware Clefable, so that thing is going to be some trouble to deal with. And then we got this Muck over here, so I'm guessing it's Poison Touch, Poison Jab, and like other status ailment stuff. I'm not really sure what Muck runs, or actually most of these Pokemon run. Just because I don't use them too often. But without further ado, let's try to get into this battle and see how it goes. So I had to reach over there really quick. But, so this battle is starting off right now with Tarek issuing a challenge. Tarek issues the challenge and leads off with his Mamoswine like before. If you actually look at the trainer slots, you can tell the Pokemon from the opponent on the left on the right will lead off with the Pokemon all the way to the right, and the trainer on the left will lead with the Pokemon all the way to the left. But Mamoswine starts out here with the Stealth Rocks against this Landorus Therian Form, and Landorus goes straight for the knockoff, knocking off the Life Orb on this Mamoswine, which is really good for him. But because he doesn't want to see an Icicle Crash come out, he's going to switch out into his Mew to try and save his Landorus T. And this Mamoswine does go for the Icicle Crash, so it was a really good prediction on Jay's part right there, turn 2, and Mew eats it up, it's so yummy. And Mamoswine does come back, Tarek sends him in and goes for the Sableye, and then Mew used the Defog to get rid of those hazards. Mew's hazards are now down, the evasion fell, but that doesn't really matter, he doesn't break evasion claws or anything. Mew switches out and goes into the Landorus. So we see Landorus come back out again against the Sableye, and I'm guessing that Sableye is going to try and go for the Confuse Ray actually this time. I thought he was going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, I forgot this thing had Confuse Ray. So Sableye lands a Confuse Ray, Landorus is confused and does not want to stay confused, so he goes for the switch. And goes into Jonathan the Slowbro. I remember this thing very nicely. This thing puts in a lot of work this battle. Will-O-Wisp is missed twice, the first time, and then he misses and then he actually lands it this time. But a burn on a Slowbro isn't too bad, it's just residual damage, I guess, to really do anything. But because it's a Slowbro, recovery's a big thing on it, so it does pretty well. But he does Scald, and I believe he got the burn on this Sableye. I can't actually tell right now. But he goes for the Confuse right now too, and Slowbro was already confused enough as to why a shell is clamped to his tail. Why would you confuse him more? That's not fair. It's not nice. But Slowbro does hit itself in the confusion, gets afflicted with burn damage, and we see that Jonathan does snap out of the confusion again and goes for the Scald to land on the paralyzed Sableye. So Jonathan actually hit a Thunder Wave on this Sableye. So that was pretty good on Jay's part, sending Slowbro to do that. So Slowbro is actually at a pretty good health right now, and he goes for the Scald just to get more damage on the Sableye because that thing is a mess. But it does not take it down. It is surviving with 1 HP on that critical hit, and it goes for the Nightshade, which does about I think like 40 damage. I can't remember if it's the exact number or not that it goes through. But Jonathan is again hurt by burn, but Sableye goes for the recover. Jay thinking that he's gonna be able to knock out the Sableye this turn. Unfortunately, pranks to recover is a thing. So Scald comes again. He's not gonna be lucky enough to land the crit or get any sort of burn, so that's really unfortunate because the burn really would help over the paralysis. But Jonathan is now at 18 HP, and Sableye goes for the recover yet again. Yet again we see this recover, so this Sableye is not going anywhere, but Jonathan hits the slack off. We see Slowbro getting that slack off on and getting a good like half HP back. That was actually really good play on Jay's part. So we see Sableye getting the leftovers back, and Jonathan still burned, getting a little bit damaged. Now he's back a little under half health, but Sableye gets paralyzed this turn, and Jonathan goes for the slack off yet again to get a really good free recovery. So now that HP is back to almost full, which is really good on Jay's part to have Jonathan at this level of HP. So we see more of that burn damage coming on. So we see also a little bit more of the hacks trying to play out with Sableye. So he goes for the Confuse Ray again and lands it. Slowbro just really getting confused, and it's really unfortunate because that poor thing, it does not deserve to be confused. But Jay goes for the Psyshock, which is a little odd on his part. I don't think he remembered that that Sableye is actually a Dark type, which is immune to Psychic type moves. But seeing as he attacked and I guess didn't want to stay in much more because he's not much he could do to the Slowbro, he switches out into Chicken, the S-Cavalier. So this S-Cavalier, I'm not really sure what it's going to do, but I'm pretty sure he's going to try and go for a physical type move or a bug type move onto Jonathan. But Jonathan hits the Scald, but does not get the burn, unfortunately. So Jonathan is going to switch out this turn and go straight into Landorus to lower that attack stat with the Intimidate ability that Landorus has. So here we are doing some pretty good work, but this Cavalier predicts it and goes for the Toxic. He goes straight for this Toxic. And poor thing, Landorus is now Toxic. I've said it like 7 times now, and he's Toxic. But S-Cavalier switches out, I'm guessing predicting the Earthquake to come through, but Landorus T does go for the knockoff instead. I'm guessing trying to think that this Clefable is going to come in, which is really good because now this Clefable cannot get any sort of recovery except for the wishes that it might hold or the Moonlights or whatever. I don't know what moves Clefable run. I really don't. All I know is that it's Unaware, Cosmic Power, and Moonblast. But Landorus T decides to switch out and go for the Tyranitar, getting this thing in. I don't remember if he Mega Evolves right away. I believe so. But this Cosmic Power does do work. It starts to raise up its defense and the special defense of this Clefable. Tyranitar does Mega Evolve and go for the Tyranitar, right, to get the nice boost in special defense, nice boost in every stat possible because Tyranitar is awesome. I don't see Mega Tyranitar very often, so when I do, I actually get very excited because it's something different. Most people run Charizard X or Charizard Y or like Venusaur or something. But it's really rare that you see a Mega Tyranitar. At least I do anyway. Most people just run regular Tyranitar because it does just about the same thing. So Tyranitar does go for the Dragon Dance to trying to get its speed up and go get its attack boosted too. But I'm thinking that he forgot that this Clefable is unaware. So at least I think anyway. I'm not 100% sure. It might be unaware. But he does go for the Cosmic Power. And he hits the Iron Head to do good, like half health. That was a good, like probably 30-40% damage. And he goes for the Iron Head again. I'm thinking, trying to get it knocked out. And unfortunately, Gengar, the Clefable, is now down. So that unaware Cosmic Power Stolly Wall is not working out for him. So he sends in the Sableye again. I'm guessing to try and get the burn off. Tyranitar knows that's coming his way, so he decides to switch out. And he goes into his Landorus to predict that that Will-O-Wisp is coming, and it won't affect because Landorus is already toxic and poison. And there's Toxic again. I should have a counter on this. I'm not going to, but I should. So we see this Landorus do take some toxic damage, and this Sableye is still paralyzed if I remember correctly, but he decides to switch out because there's nothing he can do to this Landorus that's not going to do, that Landorus can't do a bunch back. This Landorus does go for the Stone Edge, but Doombloom, the Breloom that just came in place of Sableye, avoids, bobs and weaves, dodges the attack very, very nicely, and does get that Toxic Orb Poison Heal up. So now this Breloom is now going to be able to recover. And then Jay switches his Landorus T for his own Breloom. I'm guessing predicting a Spore to come through. Because he didn't want to, but that wouldn't done anything anyway. But I guess he wanted to have a Breloom face-off here to have a little fun. And then we see now that this Breloom, Doombloom, is in fact a sub-punch set, which is not good for Jay's Breloom. What's it called? Showstopper right here. And it does a clean 90%. It does 130 damage on this 136 HP. That's about 99% damage right there. But we do see Doombloom's substitute fade. But because that Doombloom did so much damage, I don't think he's going to want to stay in. So he switches out to Mew, and then he goes into, then they both switch actually, and then Sableye comes out in place of Doombloom on Tarek's side, and Jay's side has Mew up, which is really kind of an interesting thing. But Mew does go for the taunt. The Sableye now can't do anything, except for possibly Foul Play if he carries it. As far as I know right now, he's got Recover, Confuse Ray, and what's it called? Will-O-Wisp. But Tarek decides to switch his Sableye out for Chicken, the Escavalier, and we do get the burn onto this Chicken. And however, we do see that Chicken does carry the Lumberry now. So now he taunts it again, I'm guessing because he's thinking that he's going to go for Toxic or Swords Dance or something. However, Escavalier does go for the Mega Horn, and it is going to knock out this Mew. We do see that Mew does carry the Rocky Helmet though, but it's not really doing much, except it does a bit of damage onto this Escavalier. Landorus comes back out again, I'm guessing trying to scare it out with an Earthquake, but Chicken does withdraw, come back like a chicken, and goes back into Doombloom. That Breloom is going to put in a lot of work this match right now. With Earthquake coming at it, we're seeing Doombloom practically eats up that Earthquake. He probably would have been better off with a Stone Edge, or actually, no, Earthquake probably was his better play, if not trying to go for a U-turn. But Landorus does come back, and we see that Jonathan is now back out again. I'm guessing because he predicted that he was going to go for the substitute, just to try and get his sub-punching back up, because that's what this Breloom is made for. So the Poison Heal does come back. We get some damage or health back on this Breloom from Tarek's side, and Jonathan does get hurt with the burn. It's a very unfortunate scenario. However, we don't see the Focus Punch come in, but we do see the Leech Seed. So now this Breloom is going to be carrying even more HP onto it. So we see the Psyshock come off from Jonathan and hit that substitute, and it's going to make it fade. It's a Psyshock from a Slowbro that's pretty much powerful, and it was a critical hit on top of that, so that substitute was definitely fading this turn. Jonathan does get a lot of health taken out from him just because of the burn and the Leech Seed damage, so this is going to do actually a lot. The team support here is actually really good. You're seeing a lot of effects from the other members just take place, and everything's actually counting in this battle, so it's really good to see that. But we see the Breloom come back, and it goes out into the Escavalier, the Chicken Escavalier. And Jonathan actually switches out as well and goes back into his Landorus. So that's also really good on their part. So this Escavalier does not have any sort of attack power now onto it. Landorus does predict someone to come out, so he goes for the Stone Edge. but this chicken does carry rest. Unfortunately, the Lumberry is now gone, so now rest doesn't do anything except for keep it asleep. Unfortunately, I thought he might have been a Rest Talker set the first time I saw this battle, but unfortunately, this is not a Rest Talker set. That would have been really cool because then it just would have thrown Jay right off the momentum, because he would have been not able to see what was going to happen. Breloom does come back out, switching from Landorus T, and Escavalier goes away, and does the other Doombloom comes out. So we have a Breloom showdown yet again, with Showstopper being at a very big disadvantage. Probably being able to get knocked out through a Mach Punch. However, Showstopper does outspeed it, so I'm guessing that either he won the speed tie or Doombloom is adamant and not Jolly. So Doombloom does go for the substitute again, and Showstopper is getting some HP back. He's almost at half health, but it doesn't matter because Focus Punch did way over that, so now Focus Punch is getting started right now. And Facade is coming through, trying to break that sub, which is going to break the sub. I believe so anyway. Yeah, the substitute fades right here. And we see the Focus Punch do land on Showstopper, and it's going to knock it out, unfortunately. I say unfortunately a lot. I'm noticing this as I record. So we see the Poison Heal come back. And what is Jay going to do to switch in? We have Landorus coming in to get the Intimidate to lower the attack stat again onto this Doombloom. Going for Stone Edge, I'm guessing to predict some sort of switch, or it was the best move that he could probably do to get damage off and keep the Landorus in. We have Leech Seed coming off onto this from this Doombloom onto Landorus. So now not only will Landorus receive toxic damage, but it will also receive Leech Seed damage, and this Breloom is going to be able to recover almost constantly. So right now Tarek's at a really good position. And he's putting some pressure onto Jay, and Jay's putting some pressure back with that Intimidate, so the Focus Punch won't do as much. However, Landorus does switch out and go back into Jonathan, the team player Jonathan. Here we go. And Jonathan is still burned, unfortunately. There's no way for him to get rid of that. The substitute does come out. I'm guessing trying to go for the sub punch. We see that Jonathan is affected by this burn still, and the Doombloom does hit the Leech Seed and land it onto Slowbro. So Slowbro is now going to be losing more health yet again. So this Doombloom is just trying to recover as best as it possibly can, and it's not going to really do too much to it. So we're going to see how that works out there. Let's see. We see the Leech Seed come out, and Jonathan taking more and more damage each time. And this Doombloom just gaining HP through Poison Heal and Leech Seed. Really, really good. Really good on Tarek's part. I'm really proud of this battle so far. It's actually really good. We see we see Doombloom switch out and go into the Sableye yet again. This is really like a lot of switching that's going on, and the Psyshock goes off, but it doesn't hit the Sableye just because Dark types are unaffected. And now the Sableye has a ton of recovery with leftovers, with the Leech Seed, and however, it's good for Jonathan because Sableye just got paralyzed again, and Jonathan is able to get the free slack off and get his HP back. So this is really good, but HP is more in favor of Sableye just because the Leech Seed is able to come, and I believe the leftovers. And he also has Recover, so the healing is just non-stop for the Sableye. However, Jonathan does switch out, goes into Tyranitar. I'm guessing trying to get rid of the Sableye now, because that's its best option at this point in time. However, Sableye does go for the Confuse Ray to get this Tyranitar nice and confused, and he's unable to really tell what's going on. So the Sableye is receiving damage from the Sandstorm, but it's canceled out with leftovers, so that's not too big of a deal on Tarek's side. But Sableye does go for the Will-O-Wisp and misses due to Tyranitar being able to avoid it so easily. Tyranitar does reveal that it has the Outrage, and it does a good amount of damage, and this Sableye is about to go down probably, except for that Prankster Recover is probably coming. Just to see, and we'll see if he lands that Will-O-Wisp now. No, he misses the Will-O-Wisp. So I was just trying to see what this Sableye was going to do. He went for the Will-O-Wisp and misses again, which is really unfortunate for Tarek, because the second Outrage is going to take out this Sableye, unfortunately. But he actually missed the second outrage. I must have missed that. But he does land the Will-O-Wisp this time, and Tyranitar is confused and is going to go for a Dragon Dance to up his speed and to up his attack. Try and get the Tyranitar sweep off onto this Mon right here. We see Sableye going and getting some buffeted damage from the Sandstorm, but it's getting canceled out again by the leftovers. Unfortunately, or stop saying unfortunately, Mr. Professor Saccharum here. Sableye is paralyzed yet again, and we do see Tyranitar snap out of the confusion and go for the Dragon Dance yet again to get this attack stat up nice and high, and to get the speed nice and high, just to try and even out from the burn damage, which is good on Jay's part. I probably would have done the same thing, which is really good. And seeing that this is coming out his way, Tyranitar, I believe, is now going for some attacking moves, while Sableye does recover and get all of its HP back. So now it's at full health, but Tyranitar is going for the Outrage, and I believe he does get the 2-turn Outrage this time, if I remember correctly. Like I said before in the beginning, that this was a this is the second time I've tried recording it, so I have seen this battle before. My initial reactions were all over the place because I was so excited to see this battle. It was hyped a lot for me from Jay, and just seeing it in action was a lot better for the first time. And now this Outrage is now out, and he hits it the second time. He gets a 2-turn KO, and it was a critical hit that probably mattered just because of the burn. But you know what? That Sableye is now down, and Jay is in a good position right now. And however, he doesn't get confused, so now he has the 3rd turn of Outrage to land onto Chicken. And this sleeping Chicken, this sleeping Escavalier, is now going to be taking some good Outrage damage. But unfortunate, it's not good enough. It hardly does anything. This Escavalier is too bulky to take out that Outrage poorly. So Tyranitar does get some burn damage, and we see that Tyranitar is still confused. But Tyranitar does go for the crunch. Let's see if we can get the defense drop on this Escavalier right here. It does a good amount of damage. No defense drop, but Escavalier is still asleep. So we're going to see Tyranitar probably go for crunch yet again, just to knock it out. But Tarek does withdraw Chicken and comes into the Doom Bloom again. Doom Bloom has risen yet again to try and take out this Tyranitar. Tyranitar does go for the crunch. Doom Bloom is going to take it, I believe, fairly nicely. Yeah, he takes it pretty well for the HP that he was at. Poison Heal is going to do a lot, and we're going to probably see a substitute come on through, just because now Tyranitar only has 1 turn left to live. And so I'm guessing he's probably going to save that Doom Bloom for later now, because he switches out into Escavalier, just to straight go for the knockout, or to eat up this Outrage that he knew was probably coming his way. So Escavalier is still up, but no, wait, no, Escavalier has fainted. It's gone down, and the Tyranitar does go down too. So now, when this Tyranitar does fall in 3, 2, 1, it's out of there. We have a clean field out. So we see Geist come out, the Greninja, for the first time on Jay's side, and we see this Muck that's been hiding in the back on Tarek's side come out for the first time as well. This is where the late game really does kick in right here. We got 10 turns left. What's going to happen? We see Greninja go for the U-turn and hit this Muck. It's not going to do a heck of a lot because Muck is pretty physically defensive. So that's really good on to Tarek's side. Jonathan does come back out, so we see these Wally games start to play. The Poison Jab does come out, and it does hit onto the Slowbro. However, Slowbro is going to affect this Muck very nicely with the poison. Not going to get hit with the poison touch too much, but he is going to get hit with this. But Muck's going to get hit with this Rocky Helmet damage, and he does decide to switch out and go back into Mamoswine, who we haven't seen since turn 1. So the Mamoswine is back in to try and do some damage. So with him switching out there makes me believe that he is the Freeze Dry variant. So it was a good switch on Jay to go into Greninja, and we see the Scald come straight through from Greninja. And if I remember correctly, seeing how much the way he's played it, I believe that Greninja is choice Spexed, if not Scarfed, just to outspeed. But I believe it's Specs probably to get more damage. Because we do see Greninja switch out right here when he could have easily gone for another Scald or switched up for Ice Beam or something. To try and go and get rid of this Muck, but he does switch into Landorus T to get the Intimidate off onto the Muck. Muck does go for the Poison Jab, It's already poisoned. This Landorus is already poisoned, but it does a decent amount, but not enough because of the Intimidate. However, Landorus does survive with 7 HP onto this with the Toxic. However, Muck does hit with the Shadow Sneak coming through, and Landorus is down. Landorus is down. Muck gaining HP. Let's see how this goes. We see Jonathan come back out. Saving grace, Jonathan. And we have the curses now coming up on Muck's side. Muck's side has the curses up, speed drop, which is fine. And we have the attack and defense raised. Slowbro does go for the Thunder Wave, which now allows Muck to not be able to outspeed the Slowbro because of the curse and because of the paralysis having his speed. Which is good onto Slowbro to get some good damage off. Are we gonna see? We're seeing a Psyshock appear right here, which unfortunately does deal damage to the physical defense, but it still does enough damage to bring it down a little bit. But these curses coming up are gonna make it harder and harder to knock out this Muck. But unfortunately for Muck, or for Tarek's side, these curses are going to slow it down, so Muck isn't going to be able to outspeed and do a whole heck of a lot of damage to Slowbro. So I guess this is just a point of stalling out any Psyshocks that he has. But the Poison Jab does come out on his side, and we see Jonathan do use Scald. I believe it was Scald. I couldn't remember. I missed it. To do some damage onto this, and now Jonathan is at 21 HP. Muck does go for the Shadow Sneak after the raise attack, and I do believe that Jonathan, unfortunately, is now down, and Muck does receive the Rocky Helmet damage, also allowing it, I believe, to go down as well. Oh, no, never mind. He stays alive with 1 HP, and then getting the Black Sludge back, he does come back with some more health. However, Geist is now out. To go for some sort of attacking move. The Shadow Sneak does quite a bit of damage, but Greninja is not as frail as I thought it would be, and that was a critical hit, so it took it actually pretty nicely. He only did 47 damage, but now the Ice Beam comes out, and to finish off this Muck, I decided or assumed or came to the conclusion that he was now Choice Specs or Choice Scarf due to this play right here, because he had to lock himself into Ice Beam in order to do a decent amount of damage onto this Breloom. I'm going to guess now that he was probably Scarfed just because he outsped the Breloom, but Greninja is naturally fast, and I don't remember Breloom's space speed on top of that, but that was game right there. So thank you, Jay, for submitting this video to me, or submitting this battle to me. It was really enjoyable to watch. I hope you guys liked it too. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you'd like to see more of these. And if you want to see your own, just send me the battle code. It should be on the bottom screen. You could turn it online, turn your game online, go to the Versus Recorder, and then you can upload it there, and you'll get this code that you can then send to me in the comments or in an email or Twitter. Anywhere. So be sure to like the socials, follow the socials, like the video, share it with your friends, comment, see what you want to see more of. If you want to see Jay battle again, we're having another tournament starting, I believe, today, whenever this video is coming out. So be sure to do all the stuff I said before, and I'm rambling right now. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!